Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Monday the 17th. I've just had a look at my phone so I didn't get it wrong. How are we doing, everyone? You know what? We'll do the first one. This is a quick one. Yabba, how you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Back to the grind, It's Monday blues. Getting over it. Worked pretty late today, just coming in. And I'm doing what I love. I've got two jobs. I've got a paid job, which can be a pain in the ass, I don't get... At least I get sick pay and holiday pay and all that kind of thing. Then I've got a job with the Man United agenda, where I don't get holiday pay. I don't get paid. I love it more. I love it more. So that's why I'm here. I'm checking in. I'm just clocking in. And when I go home, like Fred Flintstone, I say, "Yabba dabba doo." Remember that? He used to swing off that dinosaur and ring that bell and clock out and say, "Yabba dabba doo." Yeah.
They done.
Yeah, exactly.
BT, it's been a little while. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. Enjoyable weekend at the Spa. And I watched the game yesterday. It was all right, I suppose, wasn't it? It was nice. 3-0 away from home.
Do you mean all right? You're such a... We were so happy on the show. I'm so glad you weren't with us yesterday. You would have really put a downer on it, I tell you. We were so happy. We were so happy yesterday.
I just I don't know. I was watching it, and Leicester are crap, aren't they?
Oh, God,
and they're
they
not.
Are shit.
They're not very good, but I don't think that we were great. And I just sort of saw more kind of repeating issues that you see with players a lot. And then I was looking at Bruno, and I genuinely don't know how I feel about Bruno at the moment, because we've become so utterly dependent on him. And it reminds me a lot of Steven Gerrard. It reminds me a lot of Matt Letizia. It reminds me a lot of Grealish at Aston Villa a couple of years ago. And it's like, I'm not dissing Bruno at all. He's like our shining light at the moment. But it just feels wrong to me that Manchester United are so dependent on one player.
We are shit. So, he's our only top player. So, yeah, the fact that he's performing, it would be worse if he dropped down to the level of everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you I think you begin to worry, because, to be fair, he's kept his levels high. They've stayed. He came from Porto, was Sporting with a high level of goals and assists. And to be fair, it hasn't really. He had one season where it was a bit patchy, but he's had 31.
He's been brilliant.
He's had 31 goal involvements this season. If we didn't have him, God knows how much goals we've actually scored. But if we didn't have him, people say, "Yeah, I know Bruno's this and he's that and blah blah blah." But as a player, forget him out as a manager. You have to say it's a good job that we've got him. Is he earning his money that we will? He's 360 or whatever, free whatever. He's earning his money. Rightly or wrongly, if anybody's supposed to be getting paid that much money for kicking a football about, God knows. But in relative terms, you've got Rashford, who they wanted gone. Whether that was attitude or money, who knows? There's Casemiro, who he came in and blatantly said, he's a bag of shit and he's not worth the money. But you don't hear anything about Bruno. So he must be.
It's fantastic. There's issues with his captaincy style, like the whinging and things like that. But he's fully committed to the club. He's been our best signing since. I can't remember a signing that's been better than Bruno. Maybe you're going back to Robin van Persie, winning us the league.
He's saying best signings post Ferguson, worth every penny.
Without question, he's been our best signing since Fergie. But it just does not sit right with me that we've got to this point where we're so dependent on one player, and it worries me, because if you take him out of that team, nothing works.
Yeah, just add, I think it's really good talk. I understand your concern. While we're delighted, you bring some sort of argument that's going to make us think. And when I'm thinking about it, I think yeah, you got a good point. He's the one that makes things happen for us, but he takes the responsibility for that. He hardly ever gets injured either. I mean, this is a guy who must be. I imagine he's fitter than you, Bath Time.
I hope so.
I reckon he's brilliant. I don't know whether he does sprint drills or long distance running or whatever. Whatever his routine is, he should pattern it because he's super fit, doesn't get injured. And I don't know if it's luck or whatever, but he's doing something right with his career.
He's Portuguese. They're all like that, aren't they? Ronaldo, Delo, Bernardo Silva. They've kind of got that. It goes all the way back to that Victor Frade, who kind of invented sports science. It's part of their culture to sort of live correctly and things. And I think it's fantastic. And I think it's great that Amarin is also there, who's going to be focused on those kind of things. But it's the
point I was going to make about him, he's a key player, and he does everything you said about him that we're dependent on him because he makes things happen. He's a number 10. He's a proper number 10. And when I say, for me, number 10 is like when you watched Italian football in the 80s and 90s, they used to have all these sort of tough Italian defenders and a number 10 who everything would come through to make things happen, And you can name them Platini, Del Piero, Totti, Baggio, Rui Costa, all these wonderful players and a team built around that for this guy to make things happen, to get in between the lines and make that pass or, make a bit of magic and that kind of thing. And it reminds me of that. I wouldn't say we're that heavily dependent on him because I think if we came out the team, which some people wanted in the chat not so long ago, they were saying we don't want Bruno. I'm trying to remember who it was. There's a lot of agenda against Bruno. We don't need him. Oh, Bruno's rubbish. I think it was even one of the girls, Stephanie, or someone was saying that.
Yeah.
But we're fickle. We watch game to game and we judge it like that. But I do think if he was to come out of the team, we'd find another way to make things happen, and maybe we could get stronger. I think Bath Time, you were saying recently as well that if we did come out of the team, we wouldn't play through him, so we have to find another way to be effective and win games. But I love him. All the attributes that you talked about, all the characteristics you talked about there, being professional, Portuguese, hard-working, diligent, a good leader, and the reaction. I mean, when Dallo set him up, looked like Dallo scored himself to get an assist, and then he was, delighted with it. And Bruno came up, and that shot where he threw up in the air and he put his both arms up.
Yeah.
He felt steady enough that he was holding him properly. He could put both arms up, It's a wonderful thing. And all three celebrations were great, but Rasmus's celebration trumped everything. Because it made me think about what Bath Time says about he's nearly crying. And he was. We talked about it yesterday. He'd done some sort of celebration. I thought it was the Undertaker one where he goes like that. But I'm happy for him. And Bruno assisted too yesterday, so definitely man of the match and definitely our player.
Did he get the second one?
It kind of came off Vardy's boots. I don't even know if they gave him the second one, to be fair.
It said they got 2 assists on the BBC.
Okay.
But but did you see? I didn't see it, but did you see Newcastle Liverpool?
Yes.
I was kind of watching there. I wasn't watching it properly. I was watching it by playing music. I was doing a live yesterday, so I didn't really watch it in that intensely. No.
My sort of question that is in my head at the moment, because I saw bits of the show last night where everyone said that Bruno was world class, and I wouldn't put him as world class by my definition, which is the world 11, but he's definitely a top player. But the thing is that when you look at Liverpool's midfield, Newcastle's midfield, the midfields that are above us, Bruno's probably better individually than all of them, and yet we're constantly struggling in our midfield to kind of get the ball through the block as opposed to around it or over it. And I don't know. I'm not questioning Bruno at all, but I wonder if we should think about. I don't know. At the moment, I've just got a couple of doubts about how we can be so reliant on one player to be our spark when there are sort of other teams that in the midfield don't have anyone like this and are doing far better than we are.
I think we should start considering, because during what we now the 2020s, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I think we should. In the 80s, our captain was called Captain Marvel, and we didn't win anything. We won a couple of FA Cups. That was all. 83, 85, and beyond that, we didn't win much. But we had one of the world-class players was Captain Marvel, Brian Robson. So should we start putting Bruno on that sort of pedestal to call him our Captain Marvel? He might be a great player. We were so dependent on Robson. Are we so dependent on Bruno that we have to, put him on pedestal? Say, you are Captain Marvel. You're the guy who saw us through the tough times. You are Roy of the Rovers right now, and we're going to raise you up and say cheers to Bruno, because he has been fantastic since he's been there. I do love him as a player. Even watching him, I just enjoy what he does really well. Dictates, does everything particularly well, passes well, directs the game, controls the tempo, can shoot, as he scored with a beautiful finish yesterday. He could have gone anywhere. And all I want him to do now is start scoring with his head to be a complete player. But yeah, I'm just delighted. Mr. B, he's a proper player. And we did this talk about it yesterday. We did say, yeah, he maybe is world-class or whatever, but he's our great player right now. And whether we are dependent on him or not, it doesn't matter. Long live Bruno. Let him play every week. And let's see how far we can go this season.
All right, look. Obviously, we haven't come here to talk to ourselves. So look, let me just say a couple of howdies and get a couple of questions from them in the day. Andrew Williams has come out. Fun fact. Fancy dress parties were invented in 1977 by Sir Fancy Dress Party. Sir Richard Fancy Dress Party. Andrew, I've given you that one. Richard. So exactly, it was a fun fact of the day. So maybe he woke up. I have no idea where that would come from and why that would be so random. But it is what it is. Richard is bigging up, saying hi to everyone. I am Titanium is in the house. Obviously, Bart is back from holiday and nobody else is going to let him speak, so he's with us. Who clips up all Mr. B's watch along? They were amazing. Oh, thanks. I have no idea who clips them up. When have they been clipped up? But yeah, we ain't got time for that. We haven't even got a bloody clock. So I don't know how the hell they're gonna be clipping it up, to be fair. Fun. I hope you're doing well, man. Who else is in the house? We're right. I've got a couple of these ones as well. I'm just saying a couple of howdies first. Who else did I see in the house before I start them? Matty Bassett, Kieran. Oh, I'm not going to another home game until Ratcliffe is gone. Okay, we'll get on to that as well. Right, just a couple of ones in here. Andrew is coming. If Bruno is so good, why are we so rubbish? That is the question.
Kind of, yeah.
Is it the rest of the players that are rubbish?
We were rubbish when we come in second and third in the league. That wasn't too long ago. Only this season we've been poor because we made a big change.
Poor last season.
We were poor last season, yeah, but and this season before that.
Where did we finish last season? We won the FA Cup.
8th.
Yeah, but we finished 8th.
We won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
But we finished 8th.
It's about consistency, isn't it? It's like the cups are great, but we should be looking at the league and things. And Bruno is clearly a better player than loads of players that are in like teams that are above us. And it's kind of like, if he is this world-class player, the way someone like Luis Suarez took Liverpool from like 14th to 2nd or whatever it was, like what is like what I'm worried that we've become like he's become our Steven Gerrard, and that we're going to be unable to progress up the league with being so dependent on like one player who because he has to do everything, he's like losing the ball, exposing us to transitions, is always trying to force things and so on. That's like, so it's not a diss on Bruno. It's like we've got to get like better players around him. To be honest, we need like something like McFred back again as a basis for him. Something like Mr. B.
Okay. Look, with that, we're gonna go and ask another few more questions because I don't know how McFred came into this whole conversation. I think that little spa break there's done your head in, mate. Sydney, Leicester made Rasmus look like prime Robbie Fowler. Brush, hit those likes, guys.
Brush.
This is one from Paul Tini. Question: at present, United have 3 Danish players. In the past, aside from Schmeichel, have we had many?
We've done this the other day with the Scandinavian players.
No, you missed the show. You missed the show there. We'll put it out that way. Matty, how did you guys get on with football this weekend?
I didn't play.
Yabba.
We were 2-0 down. This is a team. We played a team called East Coast Rangers.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah. Here we go.
There's a lot going on. Honestly, I need a whole show to cover this. There's a lot going on at the moment. Have you got like 2 minutes? I'll get to get that 2 minutes.
Yeah, go on.
Play a team called East Coast Rangers. A big physical, strong side. Played them a few weeks ago. We were up and we conceded about 4 set pieces because they're big. They come in and these guys don't know how to mark. They would get dragged out, mugged off, and these guys come attacking the ball and they're missing, you know. And then when they can't do zone, they can't do man marking. They're all over the place. We went 2-0 down early on. We were struggling for players turning up on time, that kind of thing. And I thought, okay, we can get back in this. We've got a bit of talent. Change the system. As I gave the formation out, Kahinde or Zico said, "Oh, don't play 3 at the back," because he is one of them. "Oh, we should play 4 at the back," and tried to tell me. I've just arranged a team. Tried to tell me just before the game, in front of everyone, that we should be playing a 4 at the back instead. And I was like, oh my God. But this is about management. This is what things you have to put up with. People turning up late. We got back to 2-1 half time. They went, and then we got back to 2-2. And then I said, there was a guy watching the sidelines with me. I said, guys, we're 2-2. Don't push on now. To keep your shape, keep your formation, and we build from that because we were playing downhill. We had them downhill. And we had them on the back foot. 2 minutes later, they let a stupid goal in, and the guys behind me is laughing. He must be a scout or something. He's just laughing. He said, "You just said to them, keep it tight." And I said, "Oh God." And then I was saying, the thing is, I was saying, guys, stop drifting out of position. And I'm saying it in a nice way as possible. And I'm seeing people throw their arms up in the air, getting vexed at me. And I said, respect, guys, respect, as Mourinho was saying. You've got to respect the manager. I'm the one who's giving instruction. I speak well. I don't swear and cuss and all this kind of thing. I'm just saying nicely, guys, you need to do A, B, and C. If they did that, we'd be in better shape. Long story short, we got 4-4 in the end. We scored a late equaliser. And then I brought a kit and put it in the changing room. And when I got to the change room, we played there last in October, and I found my boots. No one's taking them because they're size 15. They're like that. I don't know if people are using them as like sort of kiddie canoes or whatever. I don't know, but they were there. I thought, oh, thank God, I found my boots. You know, because I was meaning to get them back. And then when I was saying to guys who turn up late because I had to go out on the pitch, bring the kit bag out because. When last man out, bring the kit bag out. Standard, everyone says that, don't they? Like people turning up late, coming up, you know, getting the kit. Kicked off after the game. Take it, said, guys, let's bring the kit. Let's go and get the kit bag and let's put the kit in the bag. Got to the clubhouse or the change room and it was locked up. So people's items, belongings were in there and the kit bag as well. So I have to wait till next Saturday and go there Saturday morning to open up, to get them to open up again. And get our kit bag for the following day, Sunday. So, and then there's other issues as well with really bad attitude players, people moaning and groaning, and that's a lot we have to deal with. And my admin guy, the man who runs the club, respected Darren, has left and saying he's had enough because of people. All we ask for is subs. Let us know that you're turning up. We've got a special app where all they do is say, yeah, coming or not, so we can pick the team and arrange it early. They don't do that and then paying the money and turning up on time. This is absolutely, this is the chores of Sunday football and Sunday football management. And yeah, I could do a whole show on it. And I think we will do soon. Just talk about our Sunday and Saturday experiences. Over to you, Mr. B. How'd you get on?
My story ain't gonna be as long as yours, Ronnie Corbett. That's what I could tell you. Bloody hell. Double header. We lost the first one 4-2. Probably my fault, to be fair.
Why?
Because we don't have a holding central midfielder. So we got 3 holding central midfielders. Yeah, and I've got them in an order, but my third choice we played in goal and we played somebody else in central midfield. and they were just running through. They were just, yeah. We scored the first goal was offside. Oh fuck it. We had a ref, right? 85. We had him last week, yeah. And I don't think he's moved from the same spot he was in last week, bro. I swear to fucking God, he got paid £90 for 2 hours of standing up in the fucking sunshine, calling offsides, he didn't move from the semicircle, not even the halfway line. The circle he stayed on the warm side. So the side that had the shade on, he didn't go into.
Oh God.
£90. So we lost the first one 4-2. Obviously, you know what I'm like. Second one, I made changes. I put our tallest guy at the back in goal. You know, we played a holding midfield. We won the second one 2-2, so 3 points each.
One at 2-2.
No, we won the second one 2-1. So
how many players did you use?
Not enough. 2 players had to leave. Two players. We could have used 28. I've got a group of 26, and I had 13.
Wow.
So I wasn't happy. They had 15. But the second game, the good thing about my team, individually, they're good problem solvers. And when we have a chat, we tend to work things. The second game, they weren't in it. But we didn't have that attitude in the first game. And as I said, that was down to me, just with me playing my holding midfielder in centre midfield. So that was my fault. I'll take the slap on the wrist. But we're still in third. We can get promoted. We can go up in second. Definitely, that's in our hands. But to win the league is out of our hands. So look, we'll see what happens in it. We'll see.
Well done.
Shout out that ref, by the way. Every league has that ref.
You know what? I have no problem. It's just the level that he's reffing at. Fine. Don't referee a game where players. I've got fast players in it. Man was blowing offside. We were behind their players. You know what I mean? It's just little.
Do you have liners?
Pardon?
They have liners.
What's that?
You don't have liners. Well, you got two subs.
Do you have linos on yours?
You've got two subs. One of them should do the line.
Fuck that.
They don't do the line.
He wouldn't have seen the line. Maybe that is an issue, but I'm not going linesman.
I had to go linesman. We had a guy, Richie, doing the line. I always go to the opposite side of where the players are. I went because I don't want to be here, chat, whatever. I want to concentrate. And our guy, Richie, was doing the line, and he was daydreaming for one, and they had a blatant offside. I said, as you do, he said, offside, ref. I said, Richie, raise your flag. And then his brother on the pitch said, don't shout at him like that. You fucking do it. So I said, give me the flag. And I thought I ended up doing it as a manager as well. I don't want to be doing it, but I did it. And
I've done it loads of times. I quite like it.
The players, any subs are supposed to do the line.
Yeah. Well, like when I come off, I sometimes run the line because I think it's a good warm down for one thing. But do you ever like? There's this ref that I've had. It's obviously a different person, but I've had him like 2 or 3 separate leagues, where he brings his golf clubs to the pitch, and just before when you get there, he's using the pitch as a golf course. You ever had a ref like that where they're just like chipping the ball about? Okay, wow. That's a country thing. I've seen that a few times from different refs, but bless the refs.
Quick question. So you do your left back, don't you? It's always the rule. I think it's a bit dodgy. So because I was linesman, I'm doing my defenses left back. So there's that. Just if I'm biased,
I am biased.
Yeah, but I'm not. I will try to be fair. But I should be doing their line. No. Do you see what I'm saying? I think
I get it, but then they don't give your offside,
you did 4
you're fuming.
Yeah, that's true.
No, what I'm good about the ball going out of play. Like I'll give it to who the ball's gone out of play for properly. But with an offside, no one knows. No one knows about the offside. So I always flag for the offside, but I've been overruled a couple of times.
Look, it's the joys of weekend football, man.
Yeah, if you don't play weekend football, like next season, go and get yourself into some crap team because it's the best way to spend your weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
Our referee, I've got respect for refs. Our referee is an 18-year-old, and one of our players is his teacher. and his name's Alfie. Maybe about 20 now. Looks really young and everything. And this is sometimes you can get overwhelmed, but I always respect him. I always make him feel like good. And so when during the game, Francis, I'm gonna name him Francis, big Ghanaian guy who was injured. He's a bit sick, but he can have it. I know he can fight. He was arguing with their centre back, and it got to the point where Francis just walked on the pitch and the game had to stop. And it's going for him. It's like, and the poor ref couldn't do anything about it, and everyone was getting involved. But that's Sunday football, man. I was going to get on my phone and start filming it, but I just thought, I don't get involved in things like that anymore, man.
Anymore.
Well, I used to, but not.
Yeah,
anymore.
I know. I was gonna say, I could tell you used to, and now you think you've calmed down like Nicky Cruz. Back in the days when we used to have RE, and they used to talk about this rebel who then became, this Christian preacher. I'm not saying you're a Christian preacher, but you've done all the bad things, and now you're getting old. You don't want the man to lick in your backside, so then you turn all soft. You know what I mean?
What was the song?
What are you talking about? Who is Rene Cruz?
Nicky Cruz.
Who's Nicky Cruz?
It was we used to do religious education years ago, primary school.
It's also the story of Amazing Grace. The song Amazing Grace?
Yeah.
It's about Amazing Grace, about an old captain or a guy who used to be really rotten, and then on his deathbed he said, "Oh, forgive me, whatever. Amazing Grace, save a wretch like me." Yeah, you save a wretch like me. So he turned being a wretch all his life, and then on his deathbed he decided to sort of give himself to God, and that was okay. So you have a terrible life, treat people terrible, and when you're ready to go and pop it, just say, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, you get
Amazing Grace. How sweet it is to save a wretch like me. Oh God.
Oh God. Sorry, look, guys. Sorry, we waffled on for a bit. We drifted off. That's what happens when Matty starts talking about Saturday football. We are actually here to talk about the price increases. Look, we're still smiling. That means it's been a good weekend. You know what I mean? The price increases. Now, obviously, we do have a couple of season ticket holders in the house. One being Vincent, and the other one, I'm not sure if he's the other one.
Is Kieran not one?
Oh, Sherbert, yeah, Kieran, because he said he's not going to go to another home game, didn't he? Yeah, so that's 3. So Vincent's got on here £2 added onto this year's price, £2.50 added onto this year's prices, and they've added 25% onto the price he used to. Oh, Lord have mercy. Does anybody understand what that said?
I think I know what he means. So a 5% increase for depending on the price of your season ticket. Like I think average season ticket's about £750 now, like 750 quid. That will add just a little bit under £2 per match if there's 19 that you have to go to. So that's the increase. It's £2 a match. But Vincent there is talking about how, like with pensioners, they used to get 50% off the ticket price or whatever, which would bring it down to $375. But now it's only a 25% decrease to like maybe 500 or something.
Is that right, Vincent? He's going to say yes or no in a minute.
He could be talking about like religious studies or something. It's Vincent. God knows. We're at the mercy of like his text to speech.
Yeah. So look, obviously they kind of dropped a little hint that there was going to be a price increase. I don't go to the games. I don't buy the tickets, so it's not going to affect me. But money has to be made somewhere. One, do you think it's right that the tickets are going up? Is it that I have no idea what inflation, if it's in line with inflation? I know they said they were going to freeze the under 16s. Well, I mean, they shouldn't be charging the under 16s any more than they're getting charged anyway. So what is this is going to cause a ruckus anyway, because obviously they're cutting jobs here, there, and everywhere. Did you think the increases are fair? I'm actually going to start with you, Yabba, because you're the one who normally causes all the chaos, and then we can get our bath time to calm the situation down afterwards.
Well, I think what was interesting is that after the discussion with Ratcliffe recently, He's done 3 or 4 interviews. I'm sure most people have seen them. You have a feeling about the man, whether he means it. Now, he might tell you something mean, or like the ticket prices are going up, we're sacking the dinner ladies, and we're making cuts. But there's a bit of realism with him as well, and a bit of passion about the club to say, yeah, I'm doing this, but for the sake of better, you know, for the sake of for the club. And if you want to buy into that, you sometimes, rather than reading a script, if you got someone you're speaking to someone and you can see them and you get a vibe. We've got 5 senses, but you've got another sense. You know, if you can use that 6th sense to try to gauge if this person's legit or not, and whether you trust him or not. That's what we have to do. We might all watch the same thing and say, I don't trust that guy, a bit shady. Other people might be like, okay, yeah, I can go with that. All right, I can go along with this thing. But the thing is, we all need to be on board together as a fan base. And if the ticket price is going up, the ones that are going to be affected by it might have a little moan and groan and everything. But then at least he's come out and said, this is what needs to be done to turn this club around, you know. And maybe in the future, we might get, because of this sacrifice we make, maybe in the future, there might be an incentive that we start winning games, winning Champions Leagues and leagues again. And you might say, you know, I was there through thick and thin. I was there when they put the ticket prices up. I'm a true fan, and I'm proud of that because you've invested into the long-term success of the club. And I think if I was paying that sort of money and I went along with it and didn't want to give up my ticket and paid the extra money and everything else and made that sacrifice, I would feel even more rewarded and more happy when we do get success from it. If we didn't get success and we ended up being terrible as we are today, and there was no growth, then you can have something to complain about. But he's saying to get to where we want to be, new stadium, better team, sort out the finances, we have to hit people hard initially. And then hopefully, as you know, once we do get that success, we can maybe drop the prices and turn things around and show some respect back to the fans. Say, look, thanks for sticking by us all this time. Here now, some sort of incentive for the fans to say thank you, like that. That's the way it should be, but it's down to everyone individually. I watched the interview now. I think it's good that he's transparent, and I don't trust him completely, but I think it's good that he's speaking face to face, and you know he's the face, he's the person responsible, he's taking the brunt of it. Say, I am Ratcliffe. It's not like Ineos organization, a board of people, whatever. It's one man. You know, and he's prepared to take all that burden on his shoulders, and knowing the backlash and everything else. Because Gary Neville even said to him, did you actually realize coming into the club the extent of how big this club is? And he didn't. He said he actually didn't. So I like the interview. I think it's good to do things like that, especially in this day and age. And I think you've got to build that relationship with the board and the fan base and just close the gap and have better communication. And that way, even if they are making bad decisions, that way we will feel part of it. We feel we know this guy. So I'm okay about it, but I'm interested to see what everyone else has to say as well.
Bath time.
I just want to ask Yabba a quick question. Have you seen the Neville Ratcliffe interview in full now?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay. One thing that wasn't mentioned in it, and I'm sure Stuart and Vincent can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that we've had freeze on season tickets, like price increases for over 10 years. Is it like 2012, I think, was the last time they went up? So I'm not crying over like a 5% increase in the season tickets. I think the thing that is really bad is the mandatory attendance has it gone up to 16 now?
Yeah, so Vincent put it in that it's 16, yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm more concerned of. And that means that you have to attend 16 out of the 19 games. I believe, are getting, like, there's a bigger fee now for transferring, like, so you have to basically sell your club to, so you have to sell your ticket to the club, and then people with a membership, like, buy the ticket off the club, basically. Those sort of prices have gone up. But this 16-19 thing is really, really bad because it's a way of taking season tickets off people and selling them to other people for more. So the season tickets, I don't want to sound mean-spirited to Vincent and Stuart and so on. It's like, it's a 5% increase, and we haven't had an increase for 10 years. So it's in line, I think, with. I think that we've had it all right and stuff, but it's the fact that the club are basically sort of like they're trying to get tickets off people, make more money from them, and then take people's season tickets away to charge more money. And I don't like that at all. Like that's the part of it that I don't like. The price increases, to be honest, I think match game fans have been done all right with the price increase.
Really good comments coming through, by the way. Yeah, you guys, Richard and Andrew and Stuart, Kieran, and all you guys, good comments.
It's as I said, I don't buy the tickets, so I don't buy the tickets. I don't have the opportunity to. But
do you have a membership?
I did have, and then I cancelled it about. It must be 3 seasons now.
Do you know what pissed me off with the membership? Was that you got nothing from it. You didn't get a keychain, you didn't get a scarf, you didn't get a badge. You got absolutely nothing except the ability for the club to charge you money for receiving a ticket.
Sounds like the Man United agenda.
Fuck off.
That's the thing that's always pissed me off about the membership, is that they sell them to our fans out in India and South America and places like that, and they get nothing for it. It's just basically it's almost like a tax on loyalty, and it annoys me because I buy 2 memberships every year, and I'd love a collection of badges going back to the early 2000s or something, but we just get absolutely nothing.
Oh, look, see, Vincent was saying that at least they got a willy out and a flask.
Yeah, that's the one I get, Vincent. The 20. I think it's going up to £25 now. I thought it was 25 quid. I can't remember.
See, and that's the point. They hope people forget, and that's another thing. They, you just hope people forget. It's like with our members, isn't it? We hope they just forget and keep paying instead of stop subscribing. You know what I mean? So yeah, look, that's it is what it is, I suppose, isn't it? But that's going to run and run. I don't think the situation is going to change. They did put it out there in his interview that he was going to increase the prices, and let's be honest, they've got a waiting list the waiting list for season tickets is ridiculous. So as soon as Stuart says he's had enough, or Kieran has said they've had enough, they've got 7, 8, 9 people willing to bite their club's hand off to get their ticket. So
they want day trippers, and this is the problem: is that I don't want to sort of diminish the the impact of fans around the world and stuff. But I've always been very clear on this, that Manchester United, first of all, should serve the people of Manchester. And it should be an inspiration.
And then North London.
Around the world. and then then the Cockney Reds. Big part of our history.
Just one of my colleague football teammates, he's an Arsenal season ticket holder. So they changed because of the cup final. They were kicking off at 1:30 yesterday. So he said, I can only play the first half and I've got to go. Because the thing is, if he didn't go to the game, he was the same thing applies. He would lose his season ticket. So he has to be attending. So this 16 out of 19 games that you're talking about, I was thinking, well, Arsenal do that too. And because there's a backlog of people wanting on a waiting list, ready to snap up tickets, it's really in demand. So they can play around, play the arse a bit when it comes to things like that.
But this is the problem.
Demand. There's a supply, there's a demand for it, and if you don't use it correctly, then they're going to pass to the next person. There has to be some incentives, like a housing waiting list. You're waiting for someone to crock it, so the house becomes available or a room becomes available. Where I work, we sort of rent properties out, and people always turn up homeless and that and say, "Oh, have you got any rooms and everything?" I said, "Well, said not at the moment." I said, "Well, when's the next room available?" So when someone moves out. I mean, how long's a piece of string? We're not going to kick people out, but it's like when someone moves out. So unless you turn and make them break their tenancy or something, it's not going to happen. So just be patient.
But my point was, Yabba, and this speaks to what Bilal is talking about here, is that if you just view it as supply and demand or market forces, I think that you lose the cultural aspect of it. Like, because people like Stuart and Vincent and Kieran and people that go, they're not going as consumers, they're going as participants. And that to me is really, really important, because I don't want this sort of Disneyfication of football where people turn up. Do you remember how angry I got about the firework display that was on the other week? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's
I
stuff
think
like
that was the start of your.
Yeah, that was the end of it. To be honest,
lost your shit.
Yeah, but it's. I think that, like, when you're taking, like, when you're looking to take season tickets away from, like, people who know all the songs and, you know, they know what the toll gate is and stuff, and they can name the river in Manchester and things. I think it kind of like it dilutes like what Manchester United is and so on. And
so hold on, what about the pressure of the people demanding, oh, I've been waiting 10 years for a season ticket, and there's got to be some sort of appeasement for these guys who are desperate to be able to go and watch their football club, and they're saying, well, what's going on? All these people are hogging these season tickets. When will more become available? I'll tell you when more become available, when we get 30,000 more in the stadium. And we get
that's the thing, but is that's got the club, like, has to sort of deal with that, not the fans themselves. Like, that's kind of my view on it.
That's my point. I mean, the club have to deal with the demand and people saying, look, what's going on? I've been waiting 10 years, 15 years for a season ticket. I keep being a member. I keep trying to do the right things. And it's they have to say, well, when someone gives it up. So they have to say, look, if you don't, so that puts pressure. If you don't maintain your ticket, or if you don't behave yourself, or if you don't, there's got to be some rules to put in place to make it stricter to say why we should take a ticket off someone, because there's people there waiting, you know? It's like your job, you know? I can't sit here and say any job, any one of you guys who are working for the man, know that you're replaceable. So maybe you're thinking, oh yeah, the job love me and everything else. No, as soon as you're gone, right, who's next in line? And there's 100 people applying for your job. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's just the reality of it. And I think,
yeah, but it's if you buy something, like, it's like, or you rent it or whatever. There's a big difference between that and an employment contract. And the issue that I have with this 16-19 thing is that I think it's being punitive to fans, where the aim is to kind of like be able to drive the price up all across. And I believe that prices out people that have helped build Manchester United into what it is today. Because it's, I mean, like, against like Leicester, you heard the away fans like all game singing their songs and stuff. Like, terrace culture is incredibly important to football clubs. In some ways, it's what differentiates them from everyone else. And what I don't want is for Manchester United to become a tourist destination where you can just sort of fly in, like, get a ticket and stuff like that. I don't mind that it's difficult to go and see Manchester United. I don't mind it's difficult to get a season ticket. But what I do mind is when the club kind of is almost like pitting fans against each other by having these measures that mean that if you have, like, you know, if you miss a couple of games through no fault of your own, that's it. Like, off it goes.
That one, look, Potus is saying he's in Canada, saying there are tons of Man United fans in Vancouver. We have a group and meet up at local pubs and we watch matches. The club is international. It's huge. Absolutely huge. And don't forget, we want to get Dora a ticket at some point as well. So I don't mind if Stuart loses his ticket, because that will give Dora to step in and say, lack or not, Stuart.
See, I mean, look, it's there we go. Look, we'll put that up. Welcome back, bath time. Yeah, look, you see, the thing is, there's always, you've seen it in the chat. You know, we've got, you know, some people who are saying, well, they don't see people from Manchester in the stadium. Some people are saying this changes, and then you've got people who are abroad saying, well, you know, if they've got the opportunity to come, they're probably not going to chant, as Vincent said. The atmosphere is probably not going to be the same without, you know, the 50,000 people chanting Glazers out when everybody else is just there for a jolly. You know, I mean, they've gone there with their hot dog, their Kentucky, whatever they've got from around the corner, or from the cafe, the chip shop round the front. You know what I mean? And then, you know, they're just there chilling, soaking in the atmosphere. So yeah, maybe it is an atmosphere thing. But the long and short of it is that, you know, we are probably the biggest supported club in the world, and people want to get tickets, you know. So, you know, you know, so
wouldn't you prefer it if, like, when Mr. POTUS talks about, like, is like, I don't know if it's a formal or an informal supporters club. I always think it's brilliant when you see, like, you know, the New Jersey Red Devils, like, getting a stadium tour and they come in and the club looks after them. I prefer it to be done, to kind of be done that way, where the club is looking after the away fans, the abroad fans, as it were. And if they want to come and watch Manchester United, of course they can come and watch Manchester United, but it shouldn't be to the detriment of, like, of our culture, like our tennis culture. And I worry that eventually it's just going to be stripped away and it's going to become a spectator arena rather than a participant arena.
That's a good point.
Look, this is obviously touched a few people, as we expected it to do. Look, if you want to keep talking about that one, you're more than welcome. I will still get it up, but we are going to actually move on to something else. Rasmus actually scored a goal after a couple of years of trying. He's now getting chances. Before, obviously, he wasn't getting the chances. We're now creating chances, and he's still missing. Yeah, do you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna go. I'm actually. Thank you. Well reminded. Thank you. -9. Yeah. He did actually hit the back of the net. As you said, Yabba, his celebration was not as emotional as the first goal that he scored, but it was emotional nevertheless. You know, it was Leicester, and he had more than one opportunity to hit the back. Although I'm not going to take any for granted. The finish was good. But is he the one to lead the line for us going down? You know, we've been linked with Jokeres and Osimhen and all these high class players who I said I'm not going to get into all of that nonsense with until they've signed the shirt. I'm like Andrew now. He said that he's enjoying playing with Zirkzee. He's happy for competition, but the fact that Zirkzee's found a position in the team, maybe he sees it as, you know, Zirkzee's not going to take his place if he says he enjoys playing with him more. I mean, I'm sure Zirkzee hasn't given him an assist yet so far this season. So, Rasmus, 1 goal. Do you think he's going to go on a streak? I'm going to speak to the optimist first, forever the happy one. Do you think he's going to go on a streak? Do you feel that the Zirkzee comments were something that he wants to keep himself in the team with? And I don't even know what else to say about him, to be fair. I suppose he'll come up with some jolly nonsense now.
It's interesting. I mean, when we read quotes like that and when players are talking, sometimes you've got to read between the lines, like you're suggesting there. There's some ulterior motive for him to be saying what he's saying. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there is in this. I just think he's got the microphone for once and he's happy to talk because he scored a goal. Probably. But the Zirkzee thing, I think any player, this is what I'm saying about the way his style of play, any player will be happy playing with Zirkzee because he's unselfish. He brings people in. It will stick to him. He's a team player. You know, he looks to pass. He looks to bring people in. He gets off on that. And I think it's really important to have players like that in your team. I think he's turned a lot of people around, the opinion of him. And just before, when we were in December, people were saying they would love for us to sell him when we just bought him. I remember having that conversation. It's like we bought him in the summer, and by December, people were saying, "Oh, we should get rid of him in January." I mean, imagine that, not giving the guy an opportunity. I did say at the start of the season, I felt Zirkzee would score like double figures amount of goals. I don't think it's going to happen like that, but I think for Hojlund to be saying that about him, I think it's just like when you see the celebration and everything, everyone, you can see there's a bit of unity with the players. And, you know, by saying, oh, I like playing with him, he's good, it's because he's a good player. You want to play with good players. You want to play with players that, you know, will help you out and talk with you positively. And Zirkzee, maybe they become good pals, you know, and I don't think it's anything to do with any agendas about taking his place or not giving him providing the competition if they're both playing in the side. I think it's nice for him to say that. Zirkzee, and I think when he looks at it, he knows Zirkzee's been through hell at Man United by getting taken off after 33 minutes against Newcastle, had a bit of stick from the fans, all that kind of thing. So he's been through that himself. So by saying that, he's endorsing his teammate, which you're supposed to do. And I think what we really want to see is just do it on the pitch, both of them. Just start doing it on the pitch, start becoming legends, start seizing the day, seizing the opportunity that you have at the club. And, you know, you won't regret it. Put the work in, guys. Less chat, more football. And whether, you know, you've got competition for places or not, that's what happens at big football clubs. So take the opportunity, do the best you can do, and, you know, look back when you're old and tell your grandchildren what great time you had at the club. Simple as that.
Yeah, I wouldn't read literally anything into this. What do you expect Rasmus to say? Like, that I hate playing with Zirkzee, he's rubbish. Like, him and Wout Faz had a big fight about who's got the bigger hair. Like, I think that, like, Rasmus, he doesn't have the fundamentals, in my view, to go on a big on to get us 15 or 20 goals a season. He might go on a little streak now and stuff, but the thing that disappointed me in that game is that after he scored, a ball came in from Mazraoui, I think, on the right, and Delot was attacking the back post, and so was Rasmus. He wasn't attacking the front post. Like, he was once again waiting for a tap in. And I just think that if that is the way you're going to play football, you might get a couple of goals from, you know, keepers doing Anana stuff and spilling it at your feet, or defender, you know, missing it. But I can't really see a future for him at the football club. I can kind of see one for Zirkzee, but Zirkzee needs a lot more end product. Like, he's a lovely player to watch, and he does some nice things, and we're seeing more and more like good stuff from him. But it's goals and assists that we need from him, and they're not coming at the moment because we're too reliant on Bruno Fernandes. So I think that this is nothing really. I mean, did Zirkzee get? He's not in the Holland squad, is he? And no. Did he get like a bit of a diss off the Dutch manager?
he said he doesn't scan enough, and he doesn't play with enough something or other, intensity aggression? Or something like, yeah, something he did say. Yeah, it was a diss. It was a diss, but then he didn't pick De Ligt, and then De Ligt was called up. So I don't know if he does it as a kick up the arse. Was he in the Dutch squad before we signed him? You know, yes. He was 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, maybe it's him playing for us then. That's pissed him off. Who's the manager?
Koeman.
Oh, Koeman. Yeah.
He doesn't like United anyway, so maybe it's a Man United thing with Koeman.
Well, maybe this is good from Rasmus, just to give like his teammate a little bit of like confidence and stuff. Like, but it's just kind of what I expect. I mean, like, you know, it's like asking Chikorita if he likes playing in a front two with Ruud or something. He's not going to say no.
Good point. Fair enough. I mean, look, I didn't think of it how you lot were thinking of it before I actually put the question out there, but yeah, maybe he is just I mean, it's international duty, isn't it? So maybe he is just talking waffle. Look, it could be a Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham situation for all we know going on in there. You know, I mean, who knows?
Well, Zirkzee's like he's got quite a lot of running beefs with people, doesn't he?
Well, yeah,
like Van Dijk.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just me picking up body language, but I think that something was said, and I looked at it from then. I've been looking at their relationship or just looking at footage, and they don't seem to talk to one another. I don't know, but you get that. As long as you play together, and you know, you might not like. I'm sure you guys have not liked some of your teammates in the past, but you wouldn't let it affect your performance or be snide towards them on the pitch. So yeah, I don't think there's any issue like that.
I was disappointed with Zirkzee, where like there was some 15-year-old for Arsenal. He might be called Max Dowman or someone like that. He had a really good game. Like Zirkzee was like having little snips at him, like on Instagram and stuff, and like you know, just buckled, just lock in and focus on football. Like the way that like Bruno has responded to Roy Keane's comments, for example. Like lock in.
I haven't seen that.
So right before we go there, just remember that, because I did want to I wanted to hear. Yeah, let me just go through these comments.
Yeah.
Richard Hawkins is saying, I think he needs, this is obviously Rasmus, I think he needs somebody to play alongside him that he can learn off. I am Titanium is saying he thinks he runs weird with the ball. Andrew, I think he may have a run of goals now. You have to judge players beyond hot streaks, though. Simon, good evening, man. I hope you're doing well. You haven't sprained anything else or pulled anything else, mate. I hope you're in as good health as you can be. I'm joking. I'm taking the piss. Sorry, mate, if I've offended you, but tough. That's how it goes, isn't it? Big G plays on big wages like Osman have got the club into trouble. We need to stop signing players on 300 grand a week. That's why we didn't talk about it. Andrew, I have a different level of expectation. He said sell them both. United started to gel. Any player can look good in a team that's performing. To be a top class and of United standard, you have to do more when things are going against you. Like Bruno, Andrew. A player that you don't like. Jermaine Sweet is saying Rasmus is playing in the wrong position. He should be playing. I could say that. Rich Simon Wood is saying it could be another long time before we see another Rasmus goal. Same applied with Rashford. Andrew is saying both fouls. Okay.
Yeah, he's
how the hell is he playing?
He is
the buzzer
awful.
here. Yeah, he is shocking. This is from Vincent. Guys, don't forget to follow YABBA on TikTok. He plays some pretty good music and also every now and then talks about the Man United agenda. Andrew Williams is saying, yep, Koeman was having a dig. Big G is saying he's scared to head the ball. I don't think he is. I just don't think he can. Andrew is saying spot on. Yeah, I don't know what part that was, but yeah, he said you're spot on. No doubt he'll disagree and get something else up here. Look,
he's sat out the bath time.
He's saying, no, there you go. Look, he's saying delete it. Maybe that had nothing to do with it either, to be fair, but it kind of went in line with what we were going with. Right. This Bruno situation, obviously, I haven't seen it, so let me know what's going on.
So the context is that like Roy Keane had a bit of a meltdown on the Overlap program talking about Bruno, where everyone was saying things that we've all said, that Bruno's the heartbeat of the team, he's the best player, all this kind of stuff. And Keane talked about two things. One is that he that at the time we're in 15th. Like it's not acceptable to be in 15th. And the other one was that he wasn't a leader. That it was nothing to do about his talent or anything like that. It was about his ability to lead and how like you need more than just talent to be at Manchester United. You need a bit of grit, determination, like character. And Bruno was asked a question after the game on Sunday, and he said, "Right, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Roy Keane. Roy Keane is one of the best ever captains. He's got 7 league titles. He's an amazing player. I respect him. I will like take on board what he said, but I'm I'm the Manchester United captain. I do everything that I can for the best of the club and the players, etc., etc. He didn't get emotional. He didn't start whinging or throwing his arms around or anything like that. It was just a really good, mature response about, like, because it is true, you know, an M14th, he is the club captain. He should be, like, embarrassed about what's going on. And I personally thought he handled it well, like, with a bit of diplomacy and dignity.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant that he said that, because journalists are looking to stitch up. They want headlines, don't they? And if he was emotional, and if he did, behind the scenes, he might have been a bit, left a taste in a bad taste in his mouth. You never know, they might have discussed it, you know, because he could have phoned up Keane, as he do, and said, what's going on here, you know, and so settle like that. But he's dealt with it properly, as a captain should. And people don't, like, that's professionalism, in my opinion. You don't want to stir things up and give the newspapers headlines that it doesn't need to be. So the headlines I've seen have all been kind of positive, and what you just said there, BATHTIME, about it, you seem quite positive about it, and as I said, he acted maturely the way he dealt with it. So take the emotion out of it. Take this a big thing. You've been criticised. You don't throw stones back. You know what I'm saying? Or what's the saying from the Bible? An eye for an eye. You know, only makes everyone blind, and we don't want to do that. So respect to Roy Keane. He has a right to say what he has to say. And sometimes you have to criticise players, and I think we want to see that. We want to hear these things, but also respect to the player as well, who's come back, responded well. So it's really, really, really nice to see.
He's a proper captain in some people's eyes, then, huh? And listen, look, captains are how you deal with situations. Some people will break a leg. Some people will pat you on the back and kick you down the stairs, and they don't know that it was you that did it. So look, it is what it is. It's just how people deal with situations. Yeah, but you got your finger up. Why do you always do that? You're not in class, blood. Just talk, man.
I'm just saying thanks for the. I've seen the quote backstage on the private chat, saying thanks, BATHTIME. I'm saying it. I just said thanks anyway in there, but basically, yeah, I'm reading it now, and it's really, it's like it's scripted. He's very smart to do that, to respond that way.
Would you like to read it out for us?
Okay, yeah, no doubt. So this is the response. Thanks, BATHTIME. This is from Bruno Fernandes when asked about the comments or what they're implying. He said, obviously, it's not nice to hear those things about you, but at the same time, it motivates you. And obviously, people think there are a lot of things you need to improve. He added, I do things in my own way to try to be the best, not captain, but the best person and teammate that I can as well. Really good quote. Really good. Well done, Bruno.
See, there doesn't seem to be any disrespect to what Bruno says. So yeah, fair play to him. Look, some people handle it differently. I think he's handled it well. You know, whether or not it's acceptable to Roy Keane, you know, we're not going to know. And guess what? It's probably not going to get as much views if he does sit back and say, "Oh yeah, he agrees with it." So Roy Keane knew what he was doing. Overlap knew what they were doing.
I don't know, Roy. Did you see it?
Yeah, when he went nuts and his face went down. Yeah.
I don't think he's thinking about like Gary Neville's views and likes and things like that. I think that it came from the heart, and I'm fairly sure that Keane will say he doesn't care about what Bruno said afterwards. It's what Bruno did on the pitch, and that was the response. Oh, well, that's the real response to what Keane said. Is Bruno getting 2 assists and a goal?
I think he's had more than that since he scored a hat-trick. He's had four goals and 2 assists since Bruno, since he tried to light him up. No,
yeah, and that's the thing I think that we should focus on. Like, I really like his response, like when asked about it, that he's acknowledged it. He's given he's given tribute to Roy Keane as the wonderful captain he was and stuff. But his real response has been his performances in the last 2 games, where like we've scored 7 goals? Was it 4-1, 3-1, 3-0? Yeah, we scored 7 goals, and that is the response that I think Keane will focus on, not on a bit of chat to TNT Sports or whatever.
Just, I'd love to know, POTUS, what he says here. Roy Keane is a professional wind-up.
Sorry,
I met Roy Keane once, and he destroyed me. Never will I forget what he said to me. Can you reveal any more than that?
Listen, you can't come in here and then leave that and then piss off. So you're gonna have to explain now, mate. So
he knows what he's doing.
Go. See, he's like Yabba, mate. Just leave us hanging a little bit, Ronnie Corbett. Come on, Mr. Potters. let's get this story done. Before we lack a notch the hell out of here. But look,
what's the Amass stuff whilst we're waiting?
Well, right. So, while we're here, Amass has basically come out and he was speaking with his pride being picked to play, obviously in the game. We would expect that, but I think it's been maybe long overdue. I'm not quite sure why he was brought in to play that specific game. Maybe it was Leicester. Just a couple of things I want to put out there, as well as saying he is actually our 253rd academy graduate to be playing, and nobody ain't catching that. Nobody ain't catching that. I mean, of all of the managers, I thought that maybe Jose would have been the one to have, maybe with his ego, tried not to.
He had a gem in the academy though, Mr. B. He gave him Manager's Player of the Season.
Look, anyway, maybe I shouldn't have, but maybe he wanted his own bloody trophy made for him as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, the McFuckery Cup, that's what it would have been. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, look, he's so look, he's speaking of his pride at playing. It's just a couple of things. I said I've got my Andrew head on now since December. Do you think this is something where we're going to get him to play more? I don't think I thought he did okay. I thought he did fine. He did a little back heel that Vardy wasn't too happy with and tried to send him into the stands with.
Oh yeah.
So these are little things that I appreciate. And as Vincent said here, it was his birthday yesterday. I don't think.
Is he 18? Like,
is it only 18?
On the dot, as it were?
Why did I think he was 19? It may well be 18. I mean, look, we'll do a show in the week on our youth, so I don't really want to go too much into our younger players. But do you think this is a selling ploy, BT?
I hope not.
Oh, you actually hope not? Yeah, you think?
No, because look, in the same way that we're passing costs on to fans by increasing season ticket prices, like the academy, like because of these stupid financial rules. Like what has eventually happened is that now you've got to start printing money from your academy. Like look at Manchester City selling like James Trafford, Lavia, Palmer, like all the Delap, all these players. They're using their academy system as a cash point. And Manchester United, as you say, 253 academy graduates. We've had one in the squad. Going back to, I have absolutely no idea, but it's ridiculous. It's like 1920 or something. It's part of our of our kind of culture, and I don't want to see the academy being used like that. But I think that's the way we're going. When you look at players like Elanga, like tearing it up at Notts Forest, and like obviously McTominay, Greenwood, Rashford is probably going to go as well. I would much prefer to see them in the team, but I mean. Amass, I don't think we saw enough to judge him, but I did like that he hit a ball quite nicely for a cross. Like he showed good technique. Yeah, like I hope we can do well, but I've got a feeling that right now there's a cocoon made of custard that is starting to crack, and Luke Shaw is just going to emerge out of it, and we've seen it so many times. Like, like the T1000 or whoever it is, he's made out of like liquid silver and he sort of like pops up. Just imagine that with custard, but Luke Shaw coming up. Because that's...
Oh! I didn't mute it.
That's what's going to happen, is that Shaw's going to get in the team and he's going to bench Dorgu for like the last 5 or 6 games of the season or something. We're all going to get really excited. We're going to sell Amass to Aston Villa or Girona or something for 17 million, and we're all going to look like a bunch of Muppets.
Let's hope not. Yeah. The last thing we want to do is look like a bunch of muppets. One short one, two bald ones, one middle-aged one, and 1 7-foot dread.
Do you know what? Do you know what though, Mr. B? We looked like Muppets for selling someone, didn't we? Was it Alvaro Fernandez who was a left back?
Yeah, I think they're looking to make money from him. I think they're just looking to make money from him in the summer.
I think we sold Alvaro Fernandez because we had so much belief in Amass, because like at the age of 17, Wilcox wanted him in basically for a cup final. So maybe that suggests to me that we've got huge hopes for him and we won't sell him. I'd be perfectly fine with a loan, to be honest, for him next year.
A year-long loan. Andrew suggested that. A year-long loan.
Yeah, just to send him to Wigan down the road or something, and like just sort of...
Yeah, but are they playing the same? You kind of want a team who's playing the same, maybe not brand of football, but maybe the same system. You know, with
Ahmad did all right at Sunderland. Like, I think that maybe he just needs like
games.
But toughening up physically. Like you saw, like you got to be careful about just throwing young players into like the arena of the Premier League, because I don't know if Heaven got injured like through bad luck or through the fact that he wasn't conditioned properly, but maybe with Amass, let's look after him and give him 6 months like League One or something like that. Bring him back, have a look at him at Christmas. If he's ready, get him in and go from there.
Yabba, nodding your head in agreement.
Yeah, good points. I like Amass. Like you said, I saw that cross come through, and I saw him get into good positions. I think he's I don't know, he has to learn it, because it's a couple of times he was starting a bit too far away from the guy he's supposed to be sticking to, stop and turning around at him or whatever. I was trying to, obviously, when he came on, you're watching these guys, aren't you? Trying to assess them. There's not much to work with, but what I will say, he's got good technique. He was delighted. I saw his social media. You can see he's really buzzing about getting his appearance. And when he played in Scotland, I think in the pre-season, he was saying some positive things as well about how he really wants to make it in the game and make it at Man United. So whatever he needs to do to become a pro player and become a first-team player at Man United, it's going to be really tough for him, because obviously with all the players, we've brought Diego Leon now, and we got Dorgu there as well, and Luke Shaw. Obviously, very funny comments coming through from Potter about Luke Shaw. You can read that while I'm talking. But so there's a lot of players ahead of him, but at least he knows in this system there's an opportunity, and he's got good attributes. So let's see how this goes, because obviously you want someone, you don't want two of a kind. I think he offers more technique. I think he's good on the ball. And I think if he's got a lot of growing to do, I would like to keep him around the club and see if he develops. Because some players like Lingard and Ian Wright and all these players, they develop later in life. You don't have to be 18, 17 and be just like Heaven or Chidu, big units. You can develop later on. So if we keep him around, I know what Barthime's saying about the Morgan Rogers and the Palmers being sold by City, they have to make their money and whatever. That works, but I'd like to keep him, because I think there's a lot of promise. There's always been lovely rumours about him since he's been at the club. So I would like to see us sort of persist with it and see if he can get like 10, 15 games a season and hopefully make his mark and become a full-time first-team player in the future.
Nothing else? Good. And with that, right, guys, look.
There's one thing we need to do, which is Potus' comment about Roy Keane.
Get it up, please. Where's that one?
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
I like the fact that you didn't read it out loud. You just read it for yourself.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, so this is oh, half time. I've missed you, man. Mr. Potus is saying he asked where I was from. I told him Canada, etc. And he started saying how lovely it must be there, then started to mimic me in front of Sir Alex. Okay. Apologies, guys. My brain switches off sometimes, man. It's just normal. It's good that I've got obviously BT back to keep me on my toes. And Yabba just sits down there chilling. He's known me long enough to know that. It's just normal. What, guys? Look, we've got an international break. I did have a little talk about. We did talk about our youth players, and I didn't really want to drift into that. We will have a show later on in the week about our youth players and where we think we might be going. So that was something to get your juices flowing. Andrew, I don't want no negativity from you, please, because I know you'll be there. Yeah. So look, 2 weeks of, it's not even 2 weeks. We're the last team to play. And when we come back, I'm positive we're the last team to play.
We're playing City when we come back. Is that our first game? Well, we've got 2 weeks to find out, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Exactly. Yeah, we'll find. I'll remember to do it by then. Somebody asked if I'm doing a watch along for the England game. I got far better things to do than me watching England. I tell you, international football is a whole fucking waste of time for me, mate. If you didn't know that before, you know that now, Simon. So no, I won't be doing that. I won't be doing a watch.
We're local.
Yeah, I have no intention of So he's saying we got Forest away. There we go, Stephanie. We got Forest away, then City.
Oh,
yeah, Lord have mercy.
It's all about Europa League, anyway.
Cheers. I said since before Christmas, I said Europa League. We're still in it. You know, that's my watch along, my watch along joy for the rest of the season. Whether or not, what's April Fool's Day? Whether or not it does happen or doesn't happen, I'm sure we'll be there. But look, guys. You know what time it is, man. I need to eat some food, man. It's 10:20. So look, bath time on a real. I'm glad you're back.
Me too.
Yabba, you know, you have to start drilling those players, man. Show them more love, not so much aggression.
That's the problem. I do show them more love than the players.
Well, there you go. You need to switch back to Yabba mode, man. But look, things will work out. Guys in the chat, beginning of the week, man. I know there was a few of you in here. Big up, man. We will be back tomorrow. So it is a lack a notch from me.
It's a lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch, everyone.